Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we're taking a look at Borussia Dortmund's shock victory against Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg of the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. PSG obviously have an opportunity to come back into it, but I want to focus on Dortmund because I think we need to give them a little bit of praise. Their intensity and their dynamism, both going forwards and defensively, needs to be highlighted. And here we can see a perfect example of that. Jadon Sancho is going to be taking the ball off Nuno Mendes as he drives forwards, just putting his leg in there, making sure that Mendes can't go forwards that little bit more. This was towards the start of the game, and it really did set the tone and the tempo for the German side going forwards, and PSG just couldn't live with them in certain points. Jadon Sancho was just a different level in this game. Pushed out here onto the right hand side, but he also found himself popping up out on this left hand side as well. He was essentially everywhere, and if we take a look at his heat map generally, he did most of his work down this Dortmund right hand side, but he did pop up over on this side occasionally as well, making sure that he was able to really recycle the ball as quickly as possible and then drive towards the opposition. And when you take a look at some of his stats, he was absolutely ridiculous. 100 touches in the game. I'll say that again, 100 touches. Now, I haven't gone through every single player, but I do believe that's probably the highest. When we have a look at some of the other statistics as well, he is just unbelievable. No one gets close to his 13 dribble attempts completed, his 18 dribble attempts altogether. He won 14 out of his 20 ground duels. He was on fire, and although he didn't contribute to one of the goals, he could have set up at least 2 goals if they were taken properly by the people that he actually linked with. Jadon Sancho was an absolute marvel during this game, and I expect him to really double down on his performance and improve yet again for the second leg. Moving on, we can see he lays it off to Julian Brandt, who then creates an opportunity, and the goal was extremely well worked. A ball lofted over the top for Füllkrug, who did a great job of not only getting on the end of it, but taking that touch and then finishing beautifully with a shot past Donnarumma. It was just brilliantly worked, brilliantly taken, and as we can see from this image, it was really well timed. The run in beyond this PSG backline, exposing all of this space in behind, is massive, crucial, brilliantly worked. As I said, he took it brilliantly. A fantastic striker's touch and finish allowed Dortmund to get the lead, and from that point on it looked like PSG were then going to really come on to Dortmund, and that's why I was so impressed with some of the defensive solidity that Dortmund showed, at times almost reverting to a 5 at the back, with Adeyemi really knocking off the ideals and likes of Ousmane Dembele, creating a midfield 4 sometimes with Julian Brandt dropping in, and then you've got Füllkrug just up ahead. A really good defensive performance which allowed Dortmund to then go forwards later on. Dortmund's defensive display was facilitated by a couple of things. Number one was the 4 players right here, talking about the 2 holding midfielders almost, and Julian Brandt joining up with Füllkrug. What this did is it created almost a box formation when Dortmund dropped back into a more defensive role, and then you've got the role of Adeyemi, who did an absolutely sensational job of dropping back to really combat the attacking prowess of Ousmane Dembele. Utilising his space and his combatability, he then managed to get forwards, and it gave Dortmund that balance in midfield when Sancho was on this side and Adeyemi was on the other. The back 4 I thought did a really good job. Maatsen getting onto a yellow card quite early on didn't hamper his progress forwards, but instead it allowed him to be a little bit more controlled, less really aggressive upon Dembele, and leaving that towards Adeyemi. It was this kind of tactical switch that allowed Dortmund to really maintain a defensive balance while also making sure that Maatsen could then join in the attack, whether it be an overlap, an underlap, or just be there to recycle possession. Overall, it was a fantastic team defensive performance with everyone pulling their weight. Jadon Sancho was the main architect from this, and some of his statistics through the game were just fantastic. We can see him here beat Nuno Mendes, really drive past and go towards the byline, utilising his pace, utilising his close control to not only drift past the PSG left back, but then be able to take it towards the byline and then try to find a pass. You're then asking him, can he find that slot? Can he find that moment? And he does. He finds Füllkrug here Füllkrug misses the chance, not as good as his previous effort, of course, but it was through this dynamism of Sancho that I thought really gave Dortmund a foothold in the game. As for the general statistics, Dortmund won in those as well. If you're a PSG fan, I'd look away right now because Dortmund actually had higher XG than PSG did with all of their superstar attackers going forwards. PSG had the most of possession, but I don't think Dortmund will mind that when they actually end up having more shots on target from a lower amount of shots. PSG didn't do enough with the ball towards the final third to really get it on target. And then when we have a look at the big chances, while PSG will boast the fact that they missed 4 of them, Dortmund actually missed more, and considering some of the major chances that Dortmund had, it could have been more, and PSG might feel like they got a little bit lucky. The 2 shots that hit the woodwork will be something that PSG fans will look towards and think that they probably have been a little bit unlucky, but considering the dynamic way that Dortmund went forwards, and considering the fact that generally when it comes to duels won, Dortmund are favoured and the aerials won, I'm not surprised that Dortmund managed to win this match. What I'm most surprised about is that it was only 1-0, and it could have been more. Now, really going forwards, we can see Sancho's involvement here as well. He takes the ball down after it's been laid off to him, and it allows him to drive forwards. Julian Brandt makes a perfect run behind the defence, and then you're asking Sancho, can he find that pass through the middle? Of course he can. He finds Brandt, and it is wasted yet again. And you're wondering whether they're going to rue those missed chances. But considering the efforts that they had, considering the dynamism they had going forwards, it wouldn't surprise me if they were to create more back in Paris. All in all, it was a fantastic performance highlighted by a superstar in Jadon Sancho, a real proper workhorse in Adeyemi who was willing to do the grunt work while a lot of the other Dortmund players went forwards, a complete team defensive display while also making sure that they had a striker up top to be able to take a chance and give them that advantage going into this second leg. A second leg that I cannot wait for, I might add. It's perfectly poised and PSG now have to go out and attack. Will Dortmund's counter-attacking opportunities through the likes of Sancho, Adeyemi and Füllkrug along with Julian Brandt be able to get them over the line, or will PSG have a little bit too much for them? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.